All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is October 14th, 2017. This is a Saturday morning webinar. And the title of today's webinar is Aggressive versus Conservative Trading, Tight or Loose Stops. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to show a chart, and let's diagnose it real quick. Don't peek at your own. That's not fair. All right, so I'm going to show a chart. All right, this is an NQ chart. This is an actual chart, and we're going to talk about aggressive versus conservative trading today. Now, if you're an aggressive trader, I'm going to ask you where your entry and stop would be, and we're going to go ahead and put lightning on this chart because obviously you can't tell where it would be otherwise, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and put lightning 1 and lightning 2. Okay, now if you're an aggressive trader and you know basically you're not caring as much about the overall trend as you're caring about the minor trend, where would your entry be on this chart? Anybody? And where would your stop be? I've got a line on the chart, and I'm going to ask you real quick. First of all, let's identify our swing first off, okay? Now, we know that if we have a high and a low and a higher high, that's an identified swing, right? Okay, so wouldn't this be our minor swing right there? Okay, and where would our secondary swing be? Wouldn't it be more down here, right? And if you were looking at medium swings, I would say you have a medium swing up here. Let's go ahead and copy that. Let's paste it a few times if we can. And you would have a medium swing here, and you would have a medium swing here. Okay, and you may even have one here before it's over, but you don't have yet. But let's go ahead and paste one just in case. Did I paste it? Maybe here, but we don't know yet because it's not identified. At least it's not identified with a number yet. Okay, now if you're an aggressive trader and you're looking at this chart right here and you see lightning actually heading up, you got a low, a high, a higher low, because we did definitely take out the swing that identifies this swing. All right, on a lightning 2, that is your identified swing. Okay, now on lightning 1, you have a high, you have a low, you have a higher high, so this is your identified swing, right? Okay, so wouldn't that be an aggressive short right there if you broke this? Wouldn't that be what you consider to be an aggressive short? And in this case, your stop would have to be there. Everybody see that? Now notice that we didn't just say, well, it's 12 ticks or it's 9 ticks or it's 10 ticks or whatever. We're actually looking at the swing itself, because we don't know on this particular chart right this very moment if this is going to break this minor swing, if it's going to break this medium or this swing actually to the upside, right? Now, let's look. We've identified what our aggressive entry is, and we know where our stop is, right? Okay. Let's see. Heck, I was going long after the first minor swing was passed. You definitely would, Charles, on your question there. But keep in mind that this is where price is now. Okay, in other words, I drew lightning on here, and this is where our prices are right now. Now, granted, you would absolutely have gone long above this one right here, for instance, right? If you had walked in the room and you saw this happening in real time, you're seeing this, you see a low made, you put your order in, and you get your trade, right? That's true. Okay. What I'm talking about right now, though, is if we were to be looking at a trade, what would we be looking at? Okay. If we break a minor swing, we could definitely go short, right? That's what lightning is right here. Now, if I was looking at this chart to go long on a conservative type trade, I'd want to break above this medium swing here like this. Keep in mind, you're not long from down here. You're just now seeing this right now, right? So we're looking at what's already happened, we're looking at what's happening now, not what's already happened. Let's go ahead and set that as like a default. Yeah, that should work. All right. I would be looking for this trade right here if I was a conservative trader. Okay. Everybody see that? Because you'd have to break resistance, and you don't really want to take a breakout trade. Do they work a lot of times? Yes, they do. Unfortunately, I wish they didn't work hardly at all. And to be truthful, they don't work as much as, they don't work. Because if you were to put a buy-in just right above that swing, you could almost count on the fact they'd pop it up a little bit and they'd pull it right back. They might pull it right back to here. They might pull it back and check this swing. But needless to say, they'd take you out of the trade if you put on a few contracts, because you'd be down a few $100s. Okay, everybody see that so far? Why would we not get long off the bounce of the previous secondary swing? You would, that's what I'm saying. But keep in mind, we're talking about where is the trade right now. Okay, yes, definitely, if you had seen the prices down in here, you see this pretty much a support area down in here. Also, could you have actually gone long above here? And the answer is yes, absolutely. In other words, if you were looking at this, but this has already happened. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm diagnosing my chart to see if I want to wait for a conservative trade or if I want to take an aggressive trade. Now, we don't know if it's going to break this right here. We may get a higher low than this and go ahead and break up. Okay, but by looking at my major swings, though, I'm not going to take a break of here. Now, I might go ahead, and if I got a little consolidation and then popped up, I might buy it down in here as long as it doesn't take this out. Everybody see that? Okay, because, and let's go ahead and look at the actual chart just real quick. Let's see, right here. This is your chart. Now, notice that you have your, what do we call this? Like basically a no man's land almost, a sideways chart, right? When you get this background like this. So that's actually tradable either way. Now, what leads me to think that this could easily go down instead of up is a high, a low, a higher high, same low, same high, lower low. So basically, this is what this chart's doing right here. Remember when we caught that move on Russell the other day? This was very similar to it, except the opposite direction. See there? Now that's pretty much a lightning high, low, lower low, right? Now we don't know if this is going to roll over or if it's going to head on up. But when I see this right here, and I know that I've got resistance right here, I'm not going to take this breakout trade. Because truthfully, your trade was all the way down here, right? Just like we showed a minute ago, or even here when it broke. But it's not here, because this would be, in my personal opinion, a pretty dangerous trade unless it goes up, pulls back, like maybe right into that top right there, and then continues to head up. That's the way I would look at this trade. An aggressive trade, though, I would also look at this trade right here if it actually happened to break down. Okay, that's an aggressive trade, and that would be if that turned red. So see, you're always diagnosing your chart in real time, so you're going to know, what is it really doing? Well, right now it's going sideways, but it does have a bent right this very moment anyway to the downside, because you do have a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low. That usually portends, a trend change. Okay, for instance, you could even look at it like this. You could say, you know what? you could actually draw a trend line underneath here. That's pretty much going to be that same break, right? So an aggressive trader would be looking for either, a break. If you were right now, if you got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and matter of fact, I've got this set, I think it's like 5:30 in the morning. I don't even get up this early. I get up around 6:30. But if you walked into your trading computer and had it turned on, would you take this long trade if this busted up above here? And I probably wouldn't, because I'm seeing resistance and resistance right across there. And I'd be very leery of this. And then I look to the left and I think, well, if it did break here, I could probably get to here. But then you draw your line and you think, okay, 84.15 to 86, 84 and a quarter to 86. That's like what, 7 ticks? And you'd have to wait for a bar to close? You might get 2 ticks possibly? No, you got to have, you got to have your risk reward set also. Is this very helpful? Good. Because what you want to do is you want to understand that, the overall trend on this chart is definitely to the upside. See your high, your low, your higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, but we don't have a higher high yet. Okay. So then that's looking to the left. Now look to the right and you see a high, a low. Remember, this is the same low. You could draw this like this if you wanted to. You could basically take this in your mind like this, and then bring your little line up like that. Then you could bring this one down here like this. But see, you're seeing the same thing, right? I mean, it's just a double top is all it is, right? And then you'd have this one going here like this. That's the way it really draws in your mind's eye, right? But when you have doubles like that, I usually just draw to the right one, because that's the same. You have a high, low, lower high, same low. So it's not really a lower high yet, is it? Until it takes out the swing. This becomes an identified swing only when it takes a swing out. So it became an identified swing right there when it took out the swing and identified it. So now you have a high, low, lower highs, lower low. Okay. Now we don't know if this is nothing but a big ABC and they're going to head up. Okay. But what you want to be really careful of doing is buying, if you didn't buy all the way down here at Phantom, do you really want to buy right here? Do you want to box this in like this, to give an example? Taking a chance of it hitting its head here at this line again, or maybe even for sure up here. Well, you could, if you want to, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll give it a shot. You want to try it? The way we would do that, we'd simply turn on region, turn on a little region here. Why isn't my region coming on? Oh, I know why, because I don't have I got to start my data back up. Let me give it a bar so it'll start my region. There we go. Any tick will basically do that. Well, maybe not. What it is, it's paused so long that I've lost Object Trader on here. I'll just put it back. Now we'll do region. There we go. All right, so if you were to buy this, I would be thinking, wow, you know what, if I box this right here and I've got resistance right here, that wouldn't be very much of a trade. So then would you box it here instead, thinking that it might bust up to here? Well, I'd come closer to boxing it in here myself if I was going to go ahead and try to see if this was just going to blitz its way up. Okay, but if this resistance holds or we get a lower high, I'd also have it boxed right under here like that. Now, that if this power meter happens to turn red, it's going to be when it breaks that swing, right? Everybody knows that, because that is the way we designed it. So you have a high, a low, a higher low, same high, right? So it would at least have to break this swing. That's my minor swing, but I don't like double tops. I like it more when I can look with a high, a low, and a higher high, and I use that swing. Okay, because this one could easily just be a break to here, and I don't want that either. If this is going to break, I really want it to break my lightning. And remember, we drew our lightning on that chart. Let me get rid of everything on here. We don't care about the rest of it. There's our lightning right there, right? 80.75. Okay, so if we've got our chart, let me draw that line. See, that's the same spot, 80.75, right? I mean, you know, this line doesn't drop in, it exactly ticks, okay? And I would probably, if this is in sideways like this, I would more than likely go with just like maybe a 10-tick trade, okay? Because the whole thing is, if this does break down, and where's your stop got to be, everyone? If this does actually close below here. Well, your stop would have to be here, wouldn't it? Now, what you could do, you don't have to reverse it at all, okay? You can actually just leave your stop right there. Sorry about that. Linda should be getting the line. Just one sec. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't see them. They were under my hat. Okay, everybody noticed that we did get the little trade, right? Okay, now keep in mind, if I'm going to try to get this for any kind of a trade for the long run, I've got to put my stop up here, right? But if I just want to scalp this, you know, like this is 10 ticks to give an example, I could even start bringing my stop on down because we might get taken out of this trade. We don't know. This is what I call an aggressive trade. Okay, and if you do an aggressive trade, and I'd probably look to the left, trade the right, I put my stop just above this area right here because that's where it kind of broke down, and I put an exit on close. Everybody see why? See your little consolidation patch that it kind of broke down below here too, put it back at the secondary one. Okay, it looks like this may work, it may not. If it doesn't, we're going to be down a little bit. Everybody see that? Okay, now if you want to try to ride this thing to see if it's really going to head down, what would you have to do, everyone? Well, you could put your stop here. That's 15 ticks. 3 contracts is 15 times 15, right? 2.25. Okay, so you need to figure that out quickly in your mind because now we're negative on this. We could have taken it out though where I said to if we wanted to. Okay, that's what aggressive trading is right there. If you're going to go aggressively, what I'd highly recommend would probably be to put a little tighter stop. Let's see if this holds. I'll just take a chance on it. We'll just see. Stops above the swing. Now I'm going to feeling some heat. I got $90 worth of heat already. The most I can go is probably 250 or so because that stop's going to get us if it gets up there. If we get a lower high, then we're going to be okay. Now that's what a breakout trade will do right there. Most every single time you get a breakout trade, especially in chop, they're going to check a previous swing or give you a lower high, you know, if we decide to go down, that is. If we decide to go up, it's going to take me out. Okay, well, we're not feeling too much heat now. We're getting close again. Now, would you have actually left that with that much heat, or would you rather take it out and then go back in? Because what I would probably do more than likely would be take the trade like we did, you know, where that's your entry. And if it had gone back at that entry again, I would have taken it out rather than taking that chance. Because you'd have it again. You know, for instance, if you did it like that, you just came out of that box, you might even get double money. You see what I mean? Okay, yeah, take it out. That's the best way. Because if you put it all the way back at that swing and with that blue mid band and everything, we could have been taken for a ride and lost $250. Okay? So let me show you the way that would be best to take this particular trade. All right, let's say that you get in at the break. Okay, it breaks. You notice that you didn't get 10 ticks. Okay, now we did get 5. Okay, but if this closed back into that area, you could get out of that trade and that wouldn't be that expensive on you. And then it happened to do this, goes up, and it comes right back down through your box. That's what a lot of times at the open of the market, that when Charles boxes in, to give an example, back in the box. Remember, he'll say that, back in the box. Well, he probably got out because what happened is it busted down, it came back and it tested him. But then what would he do in an instance like this? Back into YM short. Everybody see that? Okay, so let's diagnose this trade for an aggressive trader. I'm going to go ahead and get everything off the chart. Hopefully I didn't kill Object Trader by deleting my region, but we'll find out. All right, so when we box this in, like so, right? Okay, your aggressive trader is looking at this. He's in, right? That's where we got in. That's exactly where that fill was. All right, but looking at this, looking at your lightning, to give an example, I see lightning right here, which you do too, right? You can draw it if you don't see it. Just draw it with your little lightning. I don't know why that does that. All right, there's your lightning right there, and there's your lightning right there. So if you broke down out of this, let's just pretend this is at the open of the market, okay? And you did definitely get a 5 ticker. Now, more than likely, you should do like 5 and probably 10 instead. That way you at least get a scalp, okay? Because by getting a scalp on this, then when it goes back against you, you might zero out, but you're not going to be negative. Everybody see that? Okay. Matter of fact, we can actually back this up to 520-ish, and I'll show you that particular way to do that if you want. And we'll leave the box. Okay, everybody says yes, or at least 15 or so did. All right, so I'm going to back it up. Bear with it a second. I'll go back to like 517 or so. All right, give it a moment for it to lock in because I've got a lot of charts. As soon as it locks. That should be locked. Anytime you can start moving this, you're locked. Okay, so let's do it again. All right, so we're going to do a region, right? Just like we do. I don't think we're locked just yet. Still loading some charts. Jonathan says, I always take my first off at 5 ticks. And I see, and the thing is about that, if you do, to give an example, let's say that we did 3 contracts. Okay, and you take 2 off at even 5. Well, that's $50, right? So you're giving yourself a cushion of $50 when that last contract goes against you and you take it off the table, right? Some people even do, more contracts with a very, very tight stop. Okay, this is what we're talking about when we talk about tight stops. Let me see if this thing's locked in yet. Yeah. All right, so let's do the trade again. Well, in hindsight, we know it doesn't go long, so I'm just going to do the short, okay, because we've already seen it, so it's not saying anything by not going long. We'll go ahead and box it, though. Some are saying, no, let's just go ahead and box it. All right, so what I would do in a case like that, I would put it just a little above the swing, like this, and if it did break up and it came back in the box, I'd also take it out. Okay, so let's do this a little bit more like this, and we'll do 5 and we'll do 10. Okay, and what we're looking for, and by the way, you can even do a touch outside the box if you want to. Keep in mind when you touch outside a box that bar hadn't closed yet, so you don't really have the lightning going the other direction yet. Okay, not with what we call identified swings. So let's go ahead and do that same trade. All right, we're going to do 5, 10. We'll put our, matter of fact, you could put your trigger at 5 break even on your stop, you know, if you wanted to, I'd probably put it more like 7, you know, simply because a lot of times you'll get 7 and then it'll lock it in at break even. But let's just let it do its thing. And I'll show you what the difference is. Rather than letting them go all the way back against you, how good that can actually work out for you. Now with us having 4, we're going to just do 5. We're just going to basically scalp it for now, just to show you how the dollars actually add or subtract. Okay, so let's see here. And if you're more aggressive, you could definitely do the box like that. Okay, keep in mind, we know in hindsight, so that's not really fair. That's your identified swing. Remember, we saw it on the other chart. Okay, so we're region close. Okay. Now notice if you close right on the region, it's there like that one does. You got to have a full another bar, or hopefully, there you go. Okay, you're in. Now there's your 5 tick. See, and you got a $100 bill, and notice that you went all the way back to break even. Okay, and we're still okay. But we know just a minute ago we did not get the 10 ticks, did we? But could we get ready to take this trade again? Well, we leave them boxed in at the open. Let's just pretend this is the open right here. And let's see how aggressively, notice we had a $100 bill and then we went back to 50. Now notice again that now keep in mind, you could have also taken a long down here at this predictor, okay? What I'm showing here though is let's just pretend this is at the open of the market instead, okay? And see, you just got yourself another little trade. And if you put this at exit on close, I think it'll keep you in a lot more. See, that's $195. Now that's not bad for trading, right? That's not bad at all. Okay, because you actually kept yourself from losing money by letting that thing go all the way back against you. Now this is actually changing to a red background. Let's see if we can figure out where our next trade is on this chart. And let's just do some scalping today just for the fun of it. Okay, instead of runners, let's just scalp this thing and just see if by scalping aggressively, we can still hit what you guys and gals want to hit. Okay, because I see a trade right now, don't y'all? Where did it break down below? Where do you think it's going to come back and kiss? Let's go ahead and change that to navy blue. Yeah, navy's good. All right, don't you think it'll more than likely come back right into here? So could we take that? You want to be even a little bit more aggressive and even take an identified swing to the long side for a scalp with this same criteria? You can do that with lightning if you want. Let's go PM. I want to go PM. Let's go PM1. Let's see if we can get something. Now keep in mind, this is aggressive. This is actually still, on a longer term chart, is still high, low, much higher, high, right? So we could still get some retracements. We don't know yet. But the overall of the chart is still to the upside, the overall. Now your minor trend is definitely down now, right? Okay, if we get a higher low here, this would actually fire above that line right there if that turns green. Everybody see that? That's if it gets a lightning. Now that's a higher low. See the little candle here? See if it's going to pop it in. It may fake us even, we don't know. Let me speed this up a little bit. Hopefully we can get something. Nope. Didn't get it yet. Let's see if we can still get it. Now keep in mind, we already got our short because we got $195. So what I'm talking about right now is a little bit more aggressive trading to even try to get the retrace. Okay? Because we know when they break down, we draw these lines in the chart every single day in the room, and it'll more than likely go back up to that 78.20 area. Here we go. See if we can get something. All right, we got something, right? See if we can get a little scalp. No scalp yet. See if we can get it. I trust these lines like this because that more than likely will come up there at least. And if it does, we're going to have 5 ticks. If we get 7, we'll go to break even, right? Let's see if we can get it. Okay, we got 2 off. Now, I would also do something like this. See, it hit my line that I think it's going to hit its head at. Okay? So if this happens to go red on lightning 1, I could actually even reverse the trade if I want. See there? Why did I do that? Well, I should have done it right up here because it hit my line exactly. But anyway, I'm just using lightning to see if I can scalp some. Now notice that we're down to 135. We're feeling a little bit of heat on it. That's going to happen. But until I get at least my 5 ticks, I've got to trust at least this swing with at least the close of a bar, don't you think? And usually what we do is put it at mid-band. Oh, well, I think we're going to be okay. Let's see if it hits its head. Feeling a little bit of heat. Notice that regressively I disappeared. That's going to happen to you. Let's see if we can keep this trade at all. That's resistance. Definitely going to keep my stop right above that yellow bar. Now, could I actually have gotten out of this trade instead? Yeah, because I should have actually taken it at 78.20 where I drew my line. That way I wouldn't have felt so much heat. I took lightning instead. And see why I did, though? Because I was actually long from that low. That's one of those areas that you're going to have to really watch, too. It looks like we're going to be okay. Did a mid-band kiss. Looks like we're going to be okay. We don't even have a scalp yet. There we go. We got our scalp. Okay, so now we're at 365. Okay. You want to try that same thing again and see if we can get a trade? Let's do still longer term trend is up, so I'll go ahead and do a lightning 1. We'll see if it'll work. We'll see if it'll work. Now keep in mind again, this is aggressive trading that I'm talking about right here. We may not even get time as much to go over conservative as I want because this is a little bit more aggressive. If this was to fire, I'd put my stop right here. Like that. Let's see if it works. May not. See how that was also a predictor right down there? Ooh, that was close. Almost got me. Now, if you're going to use Lightning 1, it's going to definitely change green quicker than Lightning 2. Lightning 2 will get you in a little bit later, though, and you're going to have to use a little bit looser stop like I've got right now on this chart, I think we're going to be okay. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up to here now. If we do get 7 ticks, we'll go to break even. See what we're actually doing here, though? We're actually taking, regardless, well, must have lost everything on there. We're basically taking the lightning type. You know, if it starts zigzagging up, we take it. If it starts zigzagging down, we take it. You know, that's what that lightning script will do right there, that PM1, PM2. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this just a little bit more, like right here. See that swing? Just in case. Close of the bar. It may get us. That's okay if it does. The way you would do it if you wanted to do it with the swing, you'd have to do it right. Well, we already got taken out. All right. You want to try it again? See if we can get something. We'll go aggressive. Remember, lightning has to actually get a low, a high, and a higher low, and then close. And we just got it. That must be at the open. We're break even. There we go. Okay, so we got like $275. If we bounce and we get a red, we'll go long on this. And if we go short and we got a little scalp, I'd put my stop just under here. This is what happens at the open. Put my stop right above the swing. And there we go. We're okay again. Everybody see that? Okay. Now that's trading this aggressively. If you don't want to go against this trend at all, then don't turn on the long at all. Okay. And you do have the ability to do that by turning on required trend only. And it won't let you turn on long. It'll only let you do the shorts. Everybody see that, right? Okay. All right. But keep in mind that this will also be, if you do like to trade somewhat aggressively, you'll get in at lows. See, for instance, is this actually given a double bottom as we speak? Well, we don't know yet. Oops, I had that turned on, didn't I? I'll go ahead and protect it. I'm going to turn that off just in case. We'll see if we can get a little scalp. Now remember, like I said, if you don't want to go aggressive down at those lows, then don't, okay? Because this is what can actually happen to you at the open of the market, you know, within those first 10, 15 minutes, okay? Because remember when we boxed this in at the open on, I think this was on Thursday, we boxed it in right here, okay? And you got a beautiful little trade. You never went long, okay? Because by going long here with Lightning 1, that's a risky trade, okay? That's what I consider to be a little bit too aggressive, and it'll usually take you out. Now, I've got a lot of traders that actually like that trade, you know, boxing in and things like at lows, you know, riding Lightning, okay? But notice now that we're actually down for the morning, okay, because we went too aggressive, okay? If you went only with the direction of the trend, watch this. You had a low, you had a high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Okay, as this went up through here, when did you get a high, a low, a lower high, and start breaking? Well, you broke right through here. You know, if you boxed in, you didn't get taken out, you got that nice short. See? So what you want to do is you want to make sure you stay with the particular trend, or if you're aggressive, you're going to actually take these trades fairly quickly. Okay, like see, this is actually, breaking. For instance, if it breaks above resistance right here, could I take a chance and see if I could get along? Well, if I'm aggressive, I probably would. Okay, there's your swing right there. That's your identified swing. This is your minor identified swing. That's too aggressive. This is a little less aggressive. Okay, there's another swing trying to identify right there. You want to try it? You want to try see if we can get 45 back? Or do you want to try to see if it'll break down, pull back and kiss, and do the conservative way? Now, here's the other key to being too aggressive is not only are you down $45, but you also gave a bunch back to your broker. See that? That's why you have to be a mixture of both. And most of our people in the room said a mixture of both. Could you use sniper at bottom since it wouldn't fire if it goes through? You could use sniper, but keep in mind that, like right now, to give an example, if you draw your lightning on here, let me just draw it from here. There's your lightning right there. Okay. You do have a little higher low here. Could you take this trade if this breaks this lightning swing here? Like, could I try that, for instance? See there? That's aggressive. Okay. But I'd have to put my stop underneath the swing. See there? Okay. Now, if you just go for 5 and 10 ticks and you make some mistakes, you're not going to make money either. Notice how we went from $300 to $200 all the way back down to $45, and yet how many trades did we make? That's too many. You don't want to do that aggressive route all the time, because what happens when you're doing an aggressive like that, you're going to miss out on not only some good runs, but you're also going against the trend. Okay, I wanted to show you that today because, to me, I talk to so many traders that do this aggressive route instead, and they'll end up being up $300 or $400, and then they give it back by, well, what are they doing? They're going against the trend. Okay, now let's try and see if we can do it a little bit more conservatively and make some money. Okay, you notice that we didn't make a lot of money doing the aggressive, so let's look at a conservative route. Let's see if we can get something. Okay, you have a thrust, retrace, thrust. This is pretty much what I consider to be a medium swing. Let's go ahead and close this out. Let's do a conservative. Now, keep in mind, you could be long from down here, right? But if you're more conservative, what you want to do, okay, we got a green stealth. Let's see if we can come back to here. We don't know if we will, but maybe we will. More conservative route. Matter of fact, you could do this. We'll go ahead and do a region, and we'll do like this. And we'll take it if it touches here or if it takes it out of the top, because we don't know if it's going to break out fairly solid, which it very well could right now. Okay, nobody knows that just yet. Okay, there's our trade. All right, now let's not be as conservative. Oh, and that touched it twice. Okay, because of the fact I had long inside and outside on. So we've got 8 contracts. That's a little too much. Let's take 4 off. All right, now notice how this conservative trade worked out absolutely perfectly. But instead of just going for a scalp, I'm going to actually ride these runners. Let's go ahead and just ride 2 though. Okay, because you don't want to take a chance with all 4. Unless you've got, like a really large account, and then possibly could. Why not box both directions? Well, you definitely could, but keep in mind we're all the way down here. So if you boxed it both directions right here, and the reason that I didn't do that is because of this right here. This is your medium swing. Okay. But if you did box this with your lightning, you'd have to pretty much box it to where if it broke this support right through here, like so. Okay, and also I've seen a million charts, and this looked to me like a kind of a double bottoming where they barely take out those lows. Plus you had this huge move down, thrust like that, and then it took this out and it took this out. That was pretty much heading up, not down. Okay, now notice with me having an extra couple of contracts on here that we've got a pretty decent trade. And instead of scalping this thing, we're going to put our stop underneath here instead, like so, and we'll turn off this trigger. Because if you're going to write a trade for a gusto and make money, you pretty much have to do it the conservative and the aggressive way. If you do the aggressive way and they start changing your account from, say, $300 back down to $200 back down to $1, then you need to watch your aggressiveness of it, because you might be too aggressive by using like Lightning 1. I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you that Lightning 1's too fast. Lightning 1 literally will get you in some of these trades, you know, when the trend is still down, to give an example. That will turn green. I use that more as getting out of a trade. Okay. Let's see where this thing's heading. This is looking pretty good. Well, we can't take any profit because we've got only one set of targets, so we'll leave it. Anybody see where you could probably get in a few more on this little trade here? And where would you put your stop on this? You want to go aggressive again if it goes against us? I'd do it with probably the Lightning 2. Let's try it. Let's draw it. Oh, that is Lightning 2. Okay. So if this was to break here, right now anyway, we would take our target, right? I mean, we'd take our stop right there because that's our swing. Let's see if this takes us on out. Now let me show you a difference, very possibly, we'll find out if it will, with Lightning 2 being a little bit more conservative. Okay, we haven't hit our top yet, so we're not taking this out just yet. Now if this was to come down to right here, that's already been there, so I'd be looking for here. Let's add 1 if it touches that line. See why I did that? Because I'm looking for it to touch and give me a higher low, and it should bounce right here. If it doesn't, then I made a mistake, but we'll see. See, it's already checked this one though, right here. They don't usually check them twice. If we're going to head up, that is. Now that's aggressive because I took it right at the line. If it crosses back above the line, I could even buy another one if I wanted to. Like that. And then put my stop, since I'm now in 4 again, just right underneath the swing. Everybody see that? Because I expect this to do what? A low, a high, higher low, higher high, higher low. That's my identified swing. And now pretty soon this is going to be my identified swing. Now see how much better conservative way of doing that is? Matter of fact, we gave our broker what, 150 bucks probably? Absolutely. Okay. One time that I don't box both directions though, let me show you. Remember when we had this over here? When you can start seeing that they've got a high, a low, lower highs, and you get lower lows, they're usually changing trends. Now, not always. Okay? Because what happens a lot of times, they'll come down to a phantom and they'll give you this nice trade like this, right? But you've got to be looking at the overall to change directions. The same thing here when this actually came up, see, it didn't take out that swing, so it was still heading down. But as it starts breaking these swings like this, then you are starting to head back up. Okay. This is catching an early trend change. You can also see that you could draw a trend line on it. Still got our stop in. You want to try the Lightning 2 and see if we can get something instead? Go a little bit more aggressively. Let's see if we get a thrust first. Because if you get a thrust, like take out a previous swing, that's the time, a lot of times you can use Lightning, because what they'll do, they'll take out this swing up in here somewhere, and then they'll pull back in the mid-band. That's the way the market works. You know, because there's a lot of sellers here. You know, there's a lot of sellers that already have their money, you know, at this 81 right now. You know, that way when it gets up there, if it does, seeing it did. See, like that? Let's see if we can get a... We'll stay with it unless it takes out Lightning 2. See, it came back below resistance. Still okay. Now I'd be putting my stop. Well, if you do a reverse, obviously you don't need a stop. You just watch your reverse. You got it. Now you do have a high, a low, a lower high. So if this does, pardon me, take this out, you should get down to here or even here. There you go. Just got you a little trade. That's again the aggressive way. Not quite as aggressive because Lightning 2 is a little bit more conservative. Okay? Now let's see. We've got support. I got to slow this down a little bit. I got it going like 100 times. Okay, we got a nice little short. Okay, we busted up. We pulled back. We've never checked that swing. This is the first time in the Phantom. You want to try it? What do you think? Well, if you do, just turn this on. Let's see if we can get something. Now keep in mind, Lightning is actually like boxing. Quite a bit like boxing. Because what this is looking for on Lightning 2 is we need at least 2 bars up and 2 bars down. And we'll see if we get that. We don't know if we will, but we'll see if we do. Or, since we're out of this trade, and this is still a long trade so far, you could even box it right above here. You could also even box it right above here in case it took resistance out. Like so. Well, matter of fact, it's already taken it. Let's see if we can get something. That's a Lightning swing on one. I'll go ahead and take a chance on that. That took out resistance, so I'm happy with that. We'll ride a runner. This little trade right here was more like right through here. See the little trend line break? Okay, now judging by what we've seen so far today, what's everybody really thinking they probably want to do? Go a little bit of both? Watch your coin? You know, don't let it go negative against you. You know, for instance, if you're using like Lightning 1, I'd probably use a little bit different chart, like maybe a Renko. Okay, because if you used a Renko, let me show you something on Lightning 1 on Renko chart. Let's draw it. Now keep in mind, this is 4 range charts, but with Renko, so you would have to bust this one to actually get long. If, you know, for instance, you were doing even this Phantom, this wouldn't have gotten you in. On a 4 range it did. This would have gotten you in here. See, but you can also see, You've got a swing right there, and you've got a swing right there. And see, that even made your lightning right there. Topped out. What do you think? Let's look at this. We still got 2 on. You want to try it if it actually breaks down? Or you want to just leave it like it is? You want to look for another trade when it comes down to, say, mid-band, to give an example? Just took out resistance. Now this is where you really want to start protecting your coin. You know, when they go up to these resistance areas like this, see how that held? There's a lot of our traders that would already be short on this chart, by the way, because it double topped. Now that's real aggressive, because you know what could it do? Well, you'd probably want to put your sell in right here at 82.50, and then put your buy in just above it just in case, and then try to scalp it. Okay, let's look at this chart now. We're definitely heading up now. See here, got a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high. So where's your next trade on this chart? Anybody? You should see it. Started stair-stepping down, broke this. That's right around mid-band. So is this a sweet spot on crude? Not on crude, but on NQ. There you go. That's where I'd be looking. Okay. Now that's if it retraces enough. If it doesn't take out the swing, we could still head right back up, right? We don't know what it's going to do just yet. But if you're going to try to get a good retracement trade, you know, wait for it to come right back down to where support was, and especially when they get down to these mid bands for a conservative trade. Let's see if we can get one. You want a boxer or you want to do lightning? Or you could do sniper. You want to do sniper? Now, usually what I do when I do sniper is I put sniper on first and then draw a line. That way sniper knows it's there. And I would do like a touch +2 and see if it comes down there, and then you just simply turn it on. Let's speed it up and see if we can get anything. Now keep in mind that, there you go, you just got it. Put your stop just underneath mid-band. You could actually add to this trade if you wanted to, if it took out the little micro swing. See, like so, you know, it takes out the micro swing. Now I'm moving this a little fast, so I would have gotten that a little bit quicker than that, because its chart wouldn't be moving quite this quickly. Okay, but we got a little extra, and let's see if it holds our swing. If it holds our swing, we should be okay. Now, what does everybody think? You want to try a little bit more conservative way of trading, mixed in with a little aggressive here and there, but even on aggressive, stick with the trend instead? Notice when we went against the trend down here, we got faked in. You got faked in. You got faked in. The best way to do it is, if this is red, this color you can kind of go either way, but you got to be careful with that too, because a lot of times it goes back. It's just a deep retracement. But if you've got a mid band that's this color right here, the best thing to do is to actually wait for the lightning to quit going up and then start going down, and then take your trade, right? Draw trend lines, things like that. Don't go against the trend, in other words. Now, if you've got sideways background like this, and you do want to go ahead and take this trade that we did a little while ago, then do it more aggressively, like we did, where you actually box it in. You know, this is where we had it, remember? And we got a nice little scalp. We got taken out. We got another nice trade. Okay? But be careful going with just lightning one, because lightning one only needs a 4-range bar up, a 4-range bar down, and break. Okay? And that's not any kind of a swing. Okay, Lightning 2 has to have at least 2 bars. And by having 2 bars, you're getting, well, granted, you're getting in a little bit later, but you're also getting a little better trade. And you can also see it on your chart pretty easily too. See where this, for instance, we knew that they had busted up. They haven't checked this, so they did check it. We got a decent little trade. Okay, and not only that, did you notice that we were negative $45, and now all of a sudden we're up 1,800 bucks? Plus, you want to have blue sky to the left if you're going to take those Lightning 1 breaks again. Absolutely. Adam, that's really good there. I want to reiterate that, because if you're sideways, let's go ahead and go back here. Let's kill this trade. We don't care about it. We're almost through. Okay, if you're sideways like this, okay, if you go with the trend and scalp it, you're going to be much better off. Just to give you an example, let's just pretend this was not after hours and everything, but see here, you had Lightning heading down, boxed it, you got a little trade. Lightning heading down, boxed it, you got a little trade, right? Lightning heading down, boxed it, you got a little trade. See, go with the direction of the trend. Because if you were to just take, let's just look at it. Let's just see if, well, in this instant, it would have probably worked either way, but let's just say if you got short here, you know, if Lightning had changed red, you wouldn't have even gotten a scalp before it took you out. So it's best actually to do, you know, more the long type trade, isn't it? Not against the trend, but with the trend. And look how good these predictors do. Let's just look at these real quick. Let's just start with right here where it had done a thrust up, taken out resistance. Predictor. This predictor would have fired also because this predictor had never drawn yet. So that predictor, remember, if you use predictor, that as long as that predictor right there has not drawn another one, it's technically like drawing your box just like that. So it would have gotten that trade, and it would have gotten that trade, that trade, that trade, that trade. This one wouldn't have worked. I'd probably turn it off if you get this background like this. That's up to you. This one would have worked. This one wouldn't have worked. By then you had this one that did work, and at the open of the market you had this one that didn't work. And then you had this one might have filled, might not. I don't think it would have filled. This one here would have not. Well, it depends how you actually had it. If you use Lightning instead, then yes, you would have gotten this trade too. Like, to give an example, where's your next trade on this chart? Anybody? Anybody at all? Testing audio. Everybody hearing me? What do you think? Well, if you get a thrust up, okay, you get a thrust up, don't you think you're going to probably pretty much go with support again? So you want to see if we can get one more trade and then we'll wrap? What do you think? Now it's 9:20 in the morning, so basically what you're looking at is you're looking at trying to go ahead and get a good retracement. Long at mid-band, you want to try it? You want to just try it? Well, we already missed it, see it? Just hit mid-band. What do you think? Let's try Lightning instead. You want to try Lightning instead? Let's draw a line. That's Lightning swing right now. Let's see what happens. That's Lightning swing identified. This one's not identified yet. It's fairly choppy. Let's see if we get a trade. You want to turn it on if we do? All right. See if we get something. Your swing's under here for staying to the long side. You just hit a predictor right down there. Now, we missed that, but let's just see if we can get a lightning instead. Got a lightning 1, haven't gotten a lightning 2. It's going to be a little later than I like. I would have bought it right down here, because lightning 2 is not going to fire until right there. Let's see if it works. Now, conservative, what do you think? Because I can already see where the trade is actually. I would personally wait for a break above here and then a pullback. Let's see if it does it. Okay, we got a breakout. Let's see if it works. But this is your safer trade. This is a conservative trade. This is a breakout trade. Go ahead and put one of our targets out of the way. We don't care. Let's just see what it does. And there's your thrust above. What do you think? $100 bill says it pulls back right to my line. I better not do a $100 bill. Not for everybody in the room anyway. Let's see if it does. Let's pretend we're not even in it. Let's watch it. To that top. My stop would be underneath my swing, like so. And we got us another little trade. And it kissed our line exactly. And it did a little predictor kiss. As a matter of fact, our predictors are pretty darn good. Look at that. Nailed it exactly. There you go. See how much better if you just wait and look at charts that you can actually do trading, you know, and instead of just, well, let me just show you something here and we're going to wrap. I know we're running a little bit over, but I think these are really important to look at, because I want to show you some boxes to give an example that would have kicked you sideways. You want to let it go ahead and just play out just real quick? Higher lows and higher highs so far. Wow. Okay, but let me show you just real quick and we're going to wrap. I want to show you right here. This is what you want to really be careful of. Let's kill the trade. Get rid of everything on the chart. And let's look at these little boxes that we talk about. All right. At the open, they're much better. Let's just pretend that you box it right here. Bias to the upside. Okay, you got a quick little pop out. If you waited for the bar to close, you didn't even get 5 ticks. All right, so you kept your box. And it looks like you got a closed bar and maybe 4 ticks. Then you got closed out of the box. You didn't even get 5 ticks. Then you got closed out of the box. You didn't get 5 ticks. Not if you waited on a bar to close. Then you got closed bar. You didn't get 5 ticks. That right there would eat your lunch, wouldn't it? Now at the open, I highly recommend these boxes and everything, but you know, where would you have boxed this in? And frankly, would you have ever taken a short to begin with? Because, you know, wherever you box in a trade is going to make the difference in where Object Trader goes long, short, long, short, long. And would you have been beaten up so bad in through here already that it would have taken this trade right here to have ever made your money back? But look at how Lightning actually did. Even though it got in a little bit late, this was still doing the old heading down at the time. You double bottomed here. That was making me think it was going to head back up. Okay, but you really didn't technically head up until you took this out and came back and kissed it. Everybody see that? Because your lightning was heading down, and then it broke and it come back and kissed. Okay? So now you'll probably be looking at more into this area right here. Okay? Or even, let's see, they've been here. Let's see where they haven't been yet. Okay, right now, if you broke this, you'd be pretty much heading down on NQ, right? You'd be pretty much heading down if they break it. Let's see if I've got enough data. Let's just see here. I'm not going to take a trade. I just want to diagnose a chart. Okay, you broke. Got a red background. What do you think? A trade or not? Your secondary identified swing, this is minor right here, so I would say it would need to go to here, and I would probably be looking at this trade. Let's just see if we can get a quick trade, and then I'm going to wrap it. Got one. See how it just kissed my line area right here and came back below it? I just fired it. I'm going like 500 times, so that's awful hard to catch. But you can clearly see what I did. I just simply shorted it when it went below my support line. Okay? That's the way it works. Aggressive and conservative trading. Now, does everybody know what they want to do from now on? Absolutely. Okay. Somebody said they want to try one more. Okay. We'll just do 4 more minutes. Okay. You've got lightning up, down, up. Where's your lightning swing on this chart? Let's draw a trend line. Let's see if that actually gets something. We'll just trust lightning. Matter of fact, let's turn it on just for the fun of it. There you go. There you go. Lightning 2. Not too shabby, huh? Lightning 1, you want to use a lot of times to get out of a trade, but Lightning 2 is pretty much what you want to do to get in some of those trades. And also keep in mind that when they do pop up and pull back into a beautiful lightning swing like that, those are good areas to jump in. I hope everybody got something out of this today. I wanted to show you how to be too aggressive, which I don't recommend doing, and also how to be, well, too conservative also can hurt you too. But if you kind of mix a little bit of it, you'll probably do pretty good. If you'll stick with the overall trend of the chart, you'll do a lot better. Okay? Hope everybody enjoyed it. Thanks for coming, and I did run it about 13 minutes over. Everybody have a great day. Let's see, would you say that most, not all predictors are usually near a lightning? They're definitely near swings, Adam. That's the whole idea of predictors, is they look at a lot of those swings. They look at, fibs, fib extensions. They look at all kinds of things. And again, they're pretty good. But, rather than shorten here, see how, how that could get you faked? That one would have even faked you, see what I mean? But yet, if you look at lightning, it stair steps up until it quits stair stepping up. It actually started breaking down when it broke that swing. That's getting in a little bit late, but isn't that a lot safer trade? It's a little bit more conservative. Okay, thanks everyone again. Have a good one.